Tonight I'm reading chapter 13 of EVERNIGHT by Ross Mackenzie. This chapter is called The Sewer Strangler. There was a pub on Indigo Lane called the Festering Stump, and it possessed all the charm that its name might suggest. Traditionally, the Stump was a favourite haunt of local toshers, and when Lara walked through the doors this evening, all the chat was about a horrifying incident in the sewers that had happened that very day. Really? The four of them? Butchered, I heard, in a tunnel under Milk Street. They say it's just one cove what's doing it. Imagine that. Well, I can't say they didn't have it come in. I can't say I'm sorry either. Lara searched around in the thick fog of tobacco smoke until she found Joe Littlefoot sitting with Albert Shinner and Les the Thumb near the back of the place. Joe was still flush, it seemed, for he insisted that he'd buy her a drink and wouldn't take no for an answer. "Where you been?" he asked. "Haven't seen hide nor hair of you for a couple of days." It was true. After the incident on the boat, Lara had been lying low. Normally, she would broadcast such an adventure to anyone who'd listen, but if word was to get out about forbidden spells and hags and smuggling, and her name was linked to it, she would be in all sorts of trouble with the coppers. She sloshed the thick, mud-coloured ale around in her glass. "I been ill," she lied. Then changing the subject, "What's happened in the sewers? What's everyone gabbing about?" Joe looked around at the others, and Albert and Les, the Thumb, raised their eyebrows. "You haven't heard?" "Obviously not, or I wouldn't be asking." "Someone's killing toshers," said Les. "Down in the sewers. The Strangler, they're calling him." Joe Littlefoot took a swig of ale. 7 dead and counting. Lara rolled a mouthful of soup-thick ale thoughtfully around her mouth. "I bet it's Cotton and his gang," she said bitterly. "They've been getting worse and worse, and now they've gone too far." She stopped when she saw Joe's face. "What is it? What's up?" "It isn't Cotton." "And how do you know?" "Because," said Albert Shinner, "Cotton and his stooges are dead. The Strangler got them yesterday." Lara sat forward, the mug of ale forgotten in her hands. "You sure?" The others nodded. "There's a couple of toshers already managed to escape this lunatic by playing dead," said Joe, "and they both said the same thing. It was one man who did it. He comes from nowhere. They say he doesn't have a shadow. Can you believe that, Lara? And he asks all his victims about a wooden box." A bell rang somewhere in Lara's head. A man with no shadow. Where had she heard that before? "Sounds like a ghost story," she said, trying to sound convincing. But her insides were swirling and tumbling. She felt like the world she knew was slipping away, flying out of control. First her locket, then the bookshop and the spells on the boat and that strange noise in the air, and now this. The Sewer Strangler might just be the worst of it all, because the sewers had always been the place she felt safe, the place she could run to if she wanted to escape the world. "Wonder what's in that box," said Joe. "What's he looking for?" "Whatever it is," said Les the Thumb, "it must be valuable as a dragon egg." They sat in the smoky rabble of the pub considering this until Joe gave them all a start by exclaiming, "Blimey, I almost forgot." He reached under the table, brought out a brown paper bag and pushed it across to Lara. She raised an eyebrow. "What's this?" "Open it and see." Lara ripped the paper bag open to discover a dragon breath lamp fitted with a leather shoulder strap, the sort toshers use in the sewers. "Joe Littlefoot, I warned you not to buy." "Oh, give it a rest, Lara. You saved me down in the tunnels, and me feeding you a bowl of soup is no repayment. Take it. There's a madman around here, and maybe, just maybe, The light of this lamp will keep you safe." Lara scowled at him, but inwardly she was grateful and relieved. A tosher couldn't be a tosher without the light of a lamp. She turned the brass dial on the casting, and a warm flame leapt to life within the glass. As it flickered, Lara thought for a heartbeat that she saw the shape of a bird in the flame. But then she looked closer. It was gone.